The NBA is fast approaching, and today I have some questions, some concerns, you could say, and if these don't get answered or resolved, these teams might not reach their fullest potential. So today, we're going to have some fun. Let's get into it. For Boston, can Jaylen Brown lead this ship? There's no Tatum, no Drew Holiday, and no Kristaps Porzingis. It's safe to say that this team has a bit of a different look to them going into next year. Now, this is a guy in Jaylen Brown that 2 years ago, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Following that, with the Finals MVP, some were saying he was the best player in Boston. Now he has the chance to cement that. This is a guy that has a lot of new faces around him. It's a difficult situation, but can he keep them afloat? Can he keep them a contender? That's going to be exciting to see. Of course, speedy recovery to everybody else, but for Jaylen Brown, it's now time to step up and step out and prove to the NBA world you might be the best in Boston. My Cleveland Cavaliers, can you find a backbone? The last couple years we have gotten to the playoffs, great record, great positioning as far as home court advantage, but we've flunked out almost every single time. And that's because we don't have the aggression outside of Donovan Mitchell and 1 year of Evan Mobley. We need Jarrett Allen to be that enforcer. We need Darius Garland to step up some nights and just really show that grit, show that he wants it more than the team that we're playing. That has been what we're missing, the mentality in short. And honestly, this year, hopefully we can find it, because if not, we might have some changes. Speaking of changes, the Knicks just made one at the head coaching spot, and this year it is the same roster. So we get to figure out, is Tom Thibodeau really the problem in New York? As Mike Brown now comes in, similar philosophy, similar mindset. I just think he's going to use his rotations a little bit better than what Tom Thibodeau did. But I'm excited for the health of the Knicks players, for one. But for two, I'm excited to see if this change can give an added boost to this Knicks team. So now this year, they can actually get over the top into the NBA Finals. Because honestly, I don't see the Cavaliers finding a backbone. And I think the Knicks are going to win the conference in 2025. Now, a team that's not going to make it easy on any of these contenders is the Orlando Magic. Not only do they have the best theme song in the league, but this is a team that is now healthy, and they've added Desmond Bane to the roster. If they can stay healthy, and if Desmond Bane can be the elite outside threat that we know he is, this is a team that I think can be this year's Pacers, where they can come out of nowhere, be a 3-4-5 seed, and make a deep run in the Eastern Conference. I think that is all possible, but Paolo needs to lead this ship. And to me, top 15 player in the world, Paolo Banchero, I'm excited to see if he can do it now with some lofty expectations that I'm setting on him. Pacers made a Cinderella run last year, and that might be undercoating it, but now they have a different situation. No Tyrese Halliburton, no Miles Turner, two guys that have been there for years and have been kind of the steady hand in this organization. Now you go into next year with Pascal Siakam and a great locker room of depth, not to mention a Hall of Fame level coach as well. So how quickly can you adjust to the new lineups, the new expectations? Andrew Nembhard's going to have to be the lead guard of this team. How quickly can he adjust to the upgraded role? That's going to be the biggest question, but we know they like to play fast. And when you play fast, you can cover up some of the, mistakes or the lack of talent compared to other rosters, because you're simply just getting the volume on a nightly basis. I'm excited for this Pacers team, man, but speedy recovery to Tyrese Halliburton. Speaking of recovery, I like how I kind of tan these ones together. The Sixers, how many games are we getting from JoJo Embiid? You know, you can get over missing games from Paul George, though you would like him to be healthy for that price tag. But JoJo needs to be healthy. If he can be healthy, and you look at this roster stacked up with anybody's in the league, I think the Sixers can make the finals in the wide open Eastern Conference. But it's just not going to happen, because JoJo only plays 60 games a year, if that, and that puts this team in a situation where you need to seemingly go 3 game stretches without him, right? Have JoJo play every fourth game, and then maybe he can be ready for the playoff run. Ultimately, with modern medicine, it's still disappointing to see that JoJo can't stay healthy, because 2 years ago, he was the runaway MVP. So this is a team that, how many games are you going to get from Embiid? If it's a lot, I think you can get 10. If not, you're going to have the same fate as last season. Now, it is a true one-man show in Milwaukee, and I think we're in for a special treat as NBA fans. Whether if you want to say '06 Kobe, a 2000 Shaq, or 2018 LeBron, those are all guys that had to shoulder a lot, and they got their teams pretty far into the postseason. Now, for Giannis Antetokounmpo, he has the opportunity to add himself to that list because when you look at this roster, it's bleak, right? There's not a lot of talent on it. So Giannis has to be Superman on a nightly basis, get this team to the playoffs, and maybe have a magical run where he's simply just going to say, I'm the best player in the world, and I'm the reason why this team got to the Eastern Conference Finals. That doesn't happen if Giannis is not playing at a inhumane level. Because if you take Giannis off this roster, they're the worst in the league. If you keep him on it, they are really a play-in team, but Giannis can take them to being a contention level team. So I'm excited to see if we get a all-time great level year from 34. Now, I referenced it before with the Magic, but this year's true Cinderella story team could be the Detroit Pistons. They now can bring Malik Beasley back. I don't know if they're going to do that at the recording of this video, but they're so young and they're so hungry to get to the top of the mountain, which the Pacers were just last season. They have a good coach in JB Bickerstaff, who's one of the best at developing talent. And again, now you have your superstar level player in Cade Cunningham. Career numbers across the board last year, led this team to the playoffs, and they were one of the very toughest first round outs. And they took, again, the Eastern Conference runner-up to 6 games. The Pistons are fun, they're young, and I'm excited to see if they can continue to progress with Cade, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, and of course, Ausar Thompson. Untapped potential is probably the best way to describe the Toronto Raptors roster because you have veterans like RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, who has yet to play for you, and Scotty Barnes. If you can get all three of these guys on the court, I think they can figure out the growing pains together and how to maximize each other's talent. But if you're not healthy and if you're not out there together, it's going to be very hard to do that. But I untap potential as a trio because I think that they could be a sneaky 6, 7, 8 seed that might be able to upset a team in the first round of the playoffs, given the fact that they have 3 very talented wings. You also have Jakob Poeltl. Ultimately, this roster has a lot of talent, but can you stay healthy and can you put it together? That's going to be the question. But I'm excited for Brandon Ingram's debut and hopefully season-long year with the Toronto Raptors. Who's the next gem in Miami? Whether if it was Max Strus, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, or Jaime Jaquez for a hot minute, who's that next gem? Who's that guy that Erik Spoelstra is going to grab off the street seemingly and develop him into a quality role player, if not a star? I'm excited to see that for Miami because this year, of course, the expectations are different. You're not going to be a finals contention team, but you can make the playoffs, as we know they want to do in Miami, and keep yourself relevant enough so in 2027, when these big names hit the market, you could be in play for 1 or even 2 of them. So it is key for Spoelstra to keep this team afloat, and I think finding a gem, right, a diamond in the rough, could be a great spot for this team to make a run yet again at the playoffs. Now, is Trae Young a true number 1 option? I think we're going to find out this season. This is a roster that is the best constructed roster in Trae Young's entire career, and that includes the run that they made to the Eastern Conference Finals years ago. What was that, against the Milwaukee Bucks? It seems distant, right? But now Trae Young has a very good roster around him. If they can stay healthy, I mean, you have Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Zachary Reese-Shea, Kristaps Porzingis in the fold with Double O off the bench as well. This roster has it all. They have a good coach in there as well. Can Trae Young be a true number 1 option as an undersized guard? We don't see it many, at least not often in today's game, right? But if Trae Young can do that, he's going to put up great numbers, as we know he will. He's going to elevate the group, the young guys around him. And this team could be dangerous in the Eastern Conference, but it doesn't happen if Trae doesn't take another step in his game and becomes truly an elite top 20 player on a night-to-night basis. The Bulls were one of the most exciting teams at the end of last year. Of course, made a play-in run after they got really hot after the All-Star break. But can you carry that momentum into this year with Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Matej Buzelis? Can you carry the momentum from those 3 guys and continue to progress as players? If those 3 guys can continue to progress, I think just naturally you're going to get the best versions out of the entire roster because those guys do spread the ball around and elevate the younger group. I'm excited for this team because they're just such a wild card on a nightly basis, and I think next year they're no doubt a play-in team in my eyes in the Eastern Conference. Speaking of play-in, I think the Charlotte Hornets have all the talent to do so, but can you stay healthy? So it's a two-part question here. Can you stay healthy? And if you can you find the continuity between LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, the young core that they have, and can you put it together to make a play-in run? This is a team that when LaMelo's on the court, they're a completely different unit. There's reasons why LaMelo's an all-star when he's healthy. If this team is healthy with Brandon Miller continuing to progress, I think they have the talent to make a play-in run. I mean, who's to tell that they can't just straight up outbeat the Chicago Bulls and be that 9, 10, 8 seed to make the play-in? Honestly, they just need to be healthy, and this year could be a big one for them to get this franchise in the right direction, kind of like how the Pistons took a step last season. Now, for the Wizards and the Brooklyn Nets, I have the same question. For the Wizards, you have so much young talent on the roster, but who can step up and who can step out? Who's going to be the guy that we look at this roster and say, okay, we have our 1A guy going forward? Whether if it's Alex Sarr or whether if it's another influx of young talent on this roster, who can step up and step out? The obvious choice is Alex Sarr. And honestly, for Wizards fans, I hope you can find one or two guys that you're just saying, okay, no matter what, we're not trading these guys and we're building with them for years to come. Like I mentioned, it's the same song and dance in Brooklyn. You drafted 5 different first-round picks, brought them into the roster, and now you're hoping how many of these guys can hit. How many of these guys can get enough opportunity with all the young talent on this roster to step up and step out and give this roster hope that they can be valuable pieces on this roster for years to come. You still have guys like Michael Porter and Cam Thomas. They don't really pass the ball. So that's what I'm saying. These guys are going to get the playing time, but are they going to get the opportunity to really develop their game throughout the entire regular season? That's going to be a big question. But hey, you have the most first-round picks out of any team, so hopefully you can hit on at least one of these guys. But that's one question for every NBA team in the Eastern Conference. In order for these teams to reach their fullest potential, these questions need to be answered, and hopefully you do it the right way. But that's going to do it, man. Leave your questions for your favorite team in the comments section below, whether questions, concerns, whatever, and I'll get back to every single one.